Tony D and Little Joan, and this is a screenwriter's rant on 3 horror movies. First up is Manor of Darkness. Manor like the building, not the manner of which it's delivered. Then there's Minore, apparently an Italian horror film in Lovecraftian style. Nice. And then there's The Red Mask, a slasher movie that's meta, kind of like Scream. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Speaking of horror comedy in South Jersey, it's the Pineys. Books 1 through 18, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, Manor of Darkness, a mysterious bearded man gives documentary filmmakers an offer. £2.2 million to spend a night in his very haunted house where they'll all be brutally murdered. I think he leaves that last part out. So they spend the night, of course, because it's easy money, and then one by one they're brutally murdered. The end. I mean, I'm not sure what else there is to say about it. That's pretty much the way it goes. I assume one of them survives. Maybe her. I don't know. There's almost too many murders in this trailer. It looks like there's only about 5 characters, and they all look to be brutally murdered or attacked at some point. I give it a stab. I'll take a stab at it. Get it? First act, they make the offer. They go to the house. It's all nice. He warns them, kind of, not really. They sign some papers, and they say, okay, we'll stay in the house. And they videotape some stuff and learn about the house's former inhabitants. And for some reason, one guy tries to take a shower and blood comes out of it. Like, if you were just getting paid to spend one night in a house and it was supposed to be creepy and weird, why wouldn't you just lock yourself into one room and wait for dawn? I mean, is it not worth £2.2 million to just stay up all night, one night in your life? Kind of looks like Shia LaBeouf. Now that would be a scary house. So then one by one, they're all brutally murdered because they're stupid, and they walk out of the room, and then somebody screams, and I'll come running. One person stays behind, and the killer gets that person. You know how this goes. Is there anything interesting here? I don't know. They didn't put it in the trailer if there is. Let's read. A group of pretend filmmakers are stuck in a never-ending nightmare at the manor. Okay, so they're not even real filmmakers. They're stuck in a never-ending nightmare at the manor. So maybe they're killed and they keep coming back to life? All right, I guess. Still not down with it. Then there's Minore. It seems to be very Lovecraftian, very atmospheric, about weird creatures that come out of the mist in a dream world, and there's dreams involved. This is very Lovecraftian. It's very otherworldly. It seems to take place in an earlier time. I'm guessing the 20s maybe. There's a blind dude who has the dreams, and at some point they all arm up and fight an actual Cthulhu type monster. Oh, that's from Lovecraft. Oh yeah. So there's a scene where like a monster comes out with lots of tentacles and they're fighting it. I'm down with this 100%. So not sure how it's gonna go. First act, this guy, he's going to some weird village. He's having dreams. Gets there, dreams get worse. Mysterious people disappear. He's not sure what's going on. Has worse dreams. People are attacked by the sea monster. Eventually, if it's Lovecraftian, everybody dies or goes insane. So, this already came out. A sleepy Greek port. Music echoes from a seaside taverns and summer romances bloom until strange sea creatures begin dragging locals into the depths. A young sailor searching for his missing musician father finds himself in the middle of the chaos. As the monstrous threat grows, he bands together with a misfit group of taverna musicians, a bodybuilder, a sharp-tongued granny, local thugs, and an undead priest for one last stand. Their only hope? Find the right song. Huh. That sounds pretty cool. It didn't really come across that way in the trailer, but that sounds pretty badass. All right. I kind of like it. Next up, the Red Mask. So, a group of women go to a cabin, these two, and they're going to reenact brutal murders to come up with new ideas for a new Red Mask movie, which is apparently a franchise in this world. And then this couple joins them, and they want to join in the fun of pretending to murder people. And then, of course, the pretend becomes worse, and they actually start murdering people, and no one knows what's real and what's a game, because they call it a game. Maybe the single best meta slasher since Scream. That's like saying this may be the single best pile of feces since the last pile of feces. Scream is not a good movie. There, I said it. It's not. It is meta. You could say there are some clever moments in it, but it's all steeped in this ridiculous idea that slasher movies are, an interesting subgenre. They're just not. They're just terrible, in my view. If you like them, okay. They're kind of the same thing over and over again. People are brutally murdered one by one. Really, The Manor is a slasher movie. It just rolls out slightly different. You don't even have to kill people to make a horror movie. You don't. Watch The Shining. People do die in The Shining, but not like every 10 minutes. Watch The Exorcist. Very few people die in that. So you don't have to just keep brutally murdering people every 5 minutes to make a movie. And you definitely don't have to get deep in the lore, quote unquote, of something that has about as much lore as, I don't know, like a film of chocolate on your Kit Kat. It's not that deep. It's just a stupid slasher movie. It's not particularly clever to say, oh, we didn't know the slasher, reenacting slasher movies would suddenly turn into a slasher movie. What do you think the movie's going to be advertised? There's exactly zero surprise in that. Zero surprise. Do you think people go into movies like this blind? No, they watch the trailers. I mean, you could watch this movie if you want. It sounds like 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. But let's read the write-up anyway. When Alina Green, a rising indie screenwriter, is hired to revive a cult 80s slasher, and it all goes back to the 80s. We created stuff in the 80s, other things other than slasher movies. Maybe we could move on. You think we could move on after 40 years? She and her fiance Dietz, as in Dietz nuts, retreat to a remote cabin for inspiration. Yeah, because that's the only place you can get inspiration. A remote cabin in the woods that's very creepy and dark. It's the only place. Not a hotel. Not maybe your own house. If you just turn off the TV and the internet. No, you have to go to a cabin out in the middle of nowhere. But as Alina's screenplay begins to rewrite itself, two masked strangers appear. Their weekend spirals into a terrifying showdown where homage, horror, and reality bleed together. Let me tell you what happens in real life with the getting away to the cabin. The two people go away to the cabin and they spend all weekend eating and having sex and not getting anything done. That's what normally happens. Right? If you're going away to a cabin to write your screenplay with your fiance, you get nothing done. Like nothing. It's just an excuse to have a big long weekend on the studio's dime. So, ugh I say to this movie. All right, let's rank them. I think we know where this is headed. On the bottom, The Red Mask. Oh, that's way on the bottom. This is on the bottom of most movies I look at. I have zero interest in seeing yet another meta movie about a slasher movie that has a long history back to the 80s, which never really existed. Look, the ones that did exist aren't that interesting. Jason. About the only one that has any kind of good cinematic pedigree is Halloween, because John Carpenter made it and he's a genius. The rest, I would throw in the trash, including Freddy, including Jason, including the Chainsaw Massacre. They're worthless. They're just gore fests that mean nothing to me, as does this. Number 2 would be The Manor of Darkness. It's slightly more interesting, only because you didn't explain to me how the manor became so dark and evil. Maybe there might be an interesting backstory in there. Maybe. Doesn't sound interesting. Sounds like another excuse just to murder actors and stay in a house so you don't have to spend more than $500,000 on this. But the one that does sound interesting is Minore. Oh yeah, this sounds all kinds of interesting. Because first you have Lovecraftian, which is meant to be like mind-bending crazy. Like you have to portray the unknown. They've got the dreams in it. They got the fog. They're near a shore town in Greece somewhere. It takes place in the time period. If you've ever played Call of Cthulhu RPG, this is the time period it generally takes place, right around the 20s and 40s, somewhere in there. And it's a dark time with no internet and cell phones and whatnot, no video cameras. So yeah, I'd be down to see this. Yeah, what else is there to watch? And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. I will be at the Residence in Stafford tomorrow for my 11:15 a.m. early talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. That one's not open to the public, but what is open to the public is Otto Burns Library in Northfield, New Jersey. And I'll be there on Wednesday for my Jersey Devil talk. So that's a library. So come on out if you want to see the talk right there in Northfield. Hope to see you there. See you in the next one.